You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Good afternoon and welcome to your final Loose Women of the Week, giving you that Friday feeling with some fun and feisty debates. It's Frankie Bridge, Jane Moore, Nadia Sawala and me, Kay Adams. Coming up on the show today, if your friend wanted a baby, would you offer up your partner's sperm? Presumably you would ask them first. This comes after Hollywood actress Ginnifer Goodwin offered to donate her husband's sperm to her best friend. We're also talking about speech after this video went viral.
Can I get a white iced? Let me say that again.
Well, we're going to be discussing whether we need to be taking speech struggles more seriously. And can you believe she's been on our screens for nearly 25 years? TV presenter Kirsty Gallacher tells us all about the painful tinnitus condition that forced her to step back from work and how she's already planning her comeback. Now, last night saw the first episode of Kate Garraway's Life Stories air, which featured sportsman John Barnes. He made this revelation about the effect of his cheating had on his marriage.
Did you ever say sorry to your children for the hurt?
Guilt has played a big part, still even today, in terms of what I've actually put them through. I can't fool them into thinking that what happened didn't happen. They can't fool me into thinking that they're just going to let it go by the wayside. It's a bit of an unspoken thing. I don't speak about it, but just in the relationship we have, I know that they've forgiven me.
Well, that would be a difficult conversation if indeed there should be a conversation. Should there be, Nadia, do you think?
Oh, God, it's so difficult, isn't it? I mean, I can't imagine anything more painful growing up than if I knew that my parents had been disloyal to each other. I think if I had found that out, I think I probably wouldn't want the conversation.
As a child?
Or even as an adult.
Live in blissful ignorance.
Well, let's say, but just to actually discuss it with my parent, and you can see the pain he's still got there. The fact that he says we don't discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have felt very betrayed, I have to say. But as an adult, I mean, how much do you explain to your children about your relationship? Because, I mean, you know, most relationships go through problems, you know, whether it's an affair or it's something else. I mean, how much do you tell your kids? I suppose it's age appropriate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think it makes a big difference on age. And I've known people that have had to have those kind of conversations. And I think sometimes children can be too young. I don't think they need to know all of that information. But then I also know as a teenager as well, it can be really a hard conversation to be had. And I don't know if they really need to know the ins and outs, because I wouldn't want my kids to, if we were going to break up, I wouldn't want them to feel like they had to pick a parent. Yeah. And I just don't know if it should be allowed to be written about. Maybe there's like an age of the children where it shouldn't be allowed to be written about because it's forcing them to have to know, you know, they've all got social media, their friends, their people at school. I just don't know if it's fair on the children.
Oh, you mean you're talking just about famous people?
Well, yeah. And also, but if they weren't famous, then why is Sandra down the road from the coffee shop allowed to, like, I don't know, air it so that the family have to then confront it? I just don't really see what...
I mean, my take on that is there's one way to not get yourself in the papers, and that's not to have an affair in the first place. I don't think you can expect the media to kind of take on the responsibility of...
No, that's true.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I just think, I mean, we've all probably in our social circle got friends who've had affairs, and I think daughters take it particularly hard when it's the man that's had an affair. And I know I have a friend whose husband had an affair, and actually they ended up splitting up, but her and her husband, ex-husband, have now got a really good relationship. You know, they're mates, and she's quite philosophical about it. But his daughter still really, really struggles with what he did.
Yeah.
But I think that's such a
think my
shame
girls
because it's an adult situation and it was their marriage. And yes, he should have thought about it, or whoever it is in the situation. I just don't really feel like the children need to know because, like you say, she's now in this horrible situation where they're actually fine and they're the ones that are divorced and they're the ones who it's happened to. Yeah. And now the daughter's in this horrible situation where she dislikes her dad.
Well, she was a teenager when it happened, so I think they pick up on...
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, I think, if you're at home and you're heartbroken, it's very, very difficult, isn't it, to
you can't
disguise it
totally
from
hide
older children.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
And I mean, my girls, even if we're joking around and I've said, oh, Mark, you're a bit flirty with someone, because Mark and I really trust each other, they will be on him, like... And he's not a flirtatious man, you know, he's a very loyal man. But it's like I could feel if anything like that ever happened, wow, they would be brutal with him.
Yeah. Do you think that...
Gary has a wonderful T-shirt. It says, "You can't scare me, I've got daughters."
Oh, Mark's got that. You can't scare me, I've got 4 daughters.
What does he mean by that?
Because they're terrifying when it comes... Like, Mark said to me the other day, oh, can you come and ask one of the girls if I can borrow her headphones? I said, why? He goes, I'm terrified.
That's amazing.
God, I'm not even aware of that.
Oh, they'd go for him if
To
he
be
did
fair,
anything
my
naughty.
kids would say something. If, like, me and Wayne are bickering or whatever, they'd be like, oh, no, like... You know, they do kind of get involved. And you're like, mine are 6 or 8 and 8, and you think, yeah.
Oh, mine always side with their dad. They always side with their dad. I mean, not in that kind of situation.
They wouldn't in an affair situation. And I think
No,
that's
I
what's
don't
so
think
hard,
so.
because so many... Like, my dad, I always hero-worshipped my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad could do no wrong, and, you know, my mum would have thought I'd completely favoured my dad. That's how it looked. But actually, if my dad had hurt my mum... he would have been in such trouble with me.
Well, maybe that's it, because if you do kind of hero worship them, and I suppose I did with my dad, then if he betrayed my mum, he would have fallen even
He would have come off
further.
They're in a much more precarious state. Because it's difficult sometimes to feel like, oh, they're all for their dads. But if they fall off that perch, it's very painful.
Yeah. There you go. Be warned, be warned. No, it was the final episode of the Sex and City reboot last night, just like that. I haven't seen it, so no spoilers, thank you very much. Yeah. But we do know that in the episode, Carrie believes that she's getting spooky signs from her belated husband, Big.
I think Big's mad at me.
What do you mean?
Well, Peter kissed me last night.
Peter kissed you? How was that?
Strange to be kissing someone other than Big, but then right after, my reading lamp started blinking on and off.
Okay.
I mean, you know me. You know I'm not, like, woo-woo about stuff like this, but I think it could be Big.
In your lamp?
No, coming through my lamp.
Well, listen, Frankie, I'm going to ask you this question, but can I just say to you, don't even look at Jane when you're answering. Do you believe in spooky signs? Don't look at her, don't look at her.
Don't be
Don't make eye contact. That is our spooky side.
She's a spooky sign.
No, I don't really, but it's weird. I just think you believe in what you need to believe in, and I think you look out for those things. But I massively believe in mediums, like going to see a medium and having them tell you your future and talk about your past.
And do you only believe the bits that sound really good?
No, I think I go there almost for the bad bits. I don't know. But I don't then, like, I don't record it, I don't write it down, I don't remember everything they say. Just things might happen at some point and I'll be like, oh, that woman said that might happen or whatever. I don't know. It's almost like a nice reassurance that someone knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I really properly believe in it.
I went
so
a lot
weird.
in my 20s, maybe early 30s, but more in my 20s. And then there came a period that I just stopped going. I had no interest in going. It just kind of stopped like that.
Yeah, I haven't been for years.
And I think maybe it is you go through a period in your life.
Well, you would know, Jane.
You just kind of want answers, don't you?
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, you know, it's like, I don't know, say, if you're about to buy a red car, you suddenly notice loads of red cars on the street that you didn't notice before. And I think when you're grief-stricken, you look for the signs that people talk about. And so, like, you know, a white butterfly or a white feather or whatever. And I think if you get solace from that, great.
Yeah.
But do I believe it really is a sign from somebody?
Yeah. No, I agree with you on both levels, actually, and I would totally fess up to that, in that, you know, I had an experience just the other day. I saw these sort of angel wings, you'd be glad to know, in the shop. It was a shop that was clearing out all the furniture. There was almost the only thing left in this shop at a real knockdown price. And just before my mum died, we were in the garden centre, you know, and she saw these same wings and she said, oh, I like them. And she'll get them for my Christmas. And unfortunately, she became very ill before that Christmas. And obviously, we weren't thinking about that. And so when I saw these wings in this shop at this knockdown price, you know, there was a bit of me that thought, that's Mum, she's up there, she's saying, look, Kay, there's the wings and they're cheap. Now, I know that.
And they're cheap.
Yeah. And they're cheap, that's a Mum.
Receive money.
And I know that's rubbish. I know that's a construction in my head. But I like it.
It's a nice feeling.
And I bought them. Yeah. And I'm really, really happy.
And therefore,
and every time you look at them, you think about her.
I will think about it, yeah.
And therefore, it's not rubbish. So it's a powerful thing. And we always want to explain where powerful emotions come from. But I think if we just... I think anyone that poo-poos it, it's unfair because it's meaningful, isn't it? It's very meaningful to you, that. Yeah, and it makes you think about your mum and...
And I got them cheap. Do you believe in that?
Proud.
Only in all that way. I mean, I had a lovely experience with my friend. Mark was running the London Marathon for the Pancreatic Cancer Society, and she'd lost her mum to pancreatic cancer, and it was so busy, it was packed, the streets were like crazy, and everyone and we'd just seen Mark run by. We turned around to go to the next place to spot him, and there on the floor was this beautiful pink flower, her mum's favourite flower, and it was untouched and unstepped on, and just watching how much that meant to her, for me it almost did feel ethereal or sent from some other place, because it was just... And she cried, and she's kept that flower, and it was just very... And we always mention it. She's probably watching now. You know what I'm talking about, Lisa. And, it takes her back to that place, so it's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Still to come on today's Loose Women, we're talking about speech struggles after seeing this video online.
Can I get a white iced... let me say that again.
We'll be opening up about our experiences of speech delay, whether it's about our children or our own experiences that we have struggled with. And she's kept us entertained for nearly a quarter of a decade, quarter of a century, I think. We're chatting to TV presenter Kirsty Gallacher about her recent health battle and dating in her 40s. That's right after this. You'll never guess the question that Nadia just asked Jane there, but you might find out a little bit later. It wasn't this one, though. Would you donate your partner's sperm to a friend? That's coming up, too. Yes, Hollywood actress Jennifer Goodwin offered her husband's sperm to her best friend. I'm really concerned that she asked him first.
I know,
really
I'm thinking that now.
It does sound odd.
She asked him first. And are you an interfering mum? We've got a shocking story about the lengths a friend of ours has gone to tell her son's girlfriend off. But first, how would you fancy topping up your bank balance with £250,000? Big Doyle has everything you need to know to make that dream a reality.
Right, we have something to toast here at ITV. Wait for it. A £250,000 giveaway. Let me hear you. Whee! We're celebrating our giveaway by treating some of our winners to a slap-up meal.
You sort of get the phone call and one side of you wants to believe it and the other side is like, it's a scam, it's not real. But it's really, really phenomenal situation to be in.
Disbelief to start with. I just thought someone was having me on. It wasn't until the money went in the bank that I actually realised that we won it. Yeah, it was crazy.
But good crazy.
Good crazy, yeah.
How would you celebrate if you won big with ITV? For your chance to win £250,000, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD05 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday, the 4th of March at 4 p.m. The best of luck to you.
Now, you may have seen this video that went viral of a young woman trying to order a drink whilst battling a debilitating stammer.
I'm trying to say it. Can I get a white iced... let me say that again. That's everything. Like, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Oh my God, we're so sorry.
She was at a drive-thru trying to order something. You just feel such warmth towards her, though, don't you?
Yeah.
You just think, God.
But I bet she's got as many stories of where she hasn't had warmth, because we still know so little, don't we, really, about...
And a lot of it, I think, comes from awkwardness, I suppose,
exactly.
because if you're the person on the other side, hopefully most people, you know, would want to help, but you're not always sure what is the right thing to do to help. You know, and the last thing you want to do is blunder over the top of it, and, you know, it's
because sometimes you don't know whether you should finish off the sentence when somebody's struggling, or do you just stand there? Apparently you're not supposed to. Apparently you just wait.
I think as well, like with things like drive-thrus, for most of us that's easy. But I've never ever thought of someone who, you know, might have a stammer or anything like that, that actually it makes it so much harder for them.
Imagine everyone's raging behind you. Like furious.
It probably makes it worse.
Yeah, isn't that the great... I mean, we talk a lot on this show about the kind of evils, if you like, of social media. And actually, this is where social media is such a force for good. Because, you know, we had Lucy Edwards on, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, who's blind, and she uses her TikTok account to say, look, you can do all sorts of things. You know? And this young lady as well, I think she was on the show, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
And so, you know, here she is, look. The fact that, you know, it's out there now, because I think when we were kids, if anybody had something, you know, that they were struggling with, there was nothing out there for them to identify with. Whereas social media now, you can always
That's right, and it really makes you
something.
stop and think. It's interesting, you know, when we did that, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, the strapline was, do you worry about... You know, we saw that there. Do you worry about your child's speech? I mean, as an adult, that's one thing, but there's real concern, particularly, you know, hopefully we're beginning to be post-pandemic in terms of what the impact has been on, you know, younger children's speech. I mean, there's some quite big stats here. Apparently 1.5 million facing being left behind in their speaking understanding due to disruption caused by COVID. You know...
Well, the disruption to their education, but also because they've seen people like this, and you do read people's lips a lot when you're listening.
More than half of parents concerned about their child starting school following the lockdown in the spring and summer. Were you concerned with your kids?
Yeah, you know what, it's so funny because when Parker was my first, and so I had nothing to compare him to, and I've always been one of those parents that, you know, you can't really compare your kids, they all do things at different times. And I remember I was at the doctor's with Parker for something else, and Parker asked me for a snack, so I got him a snack out, gave it to him, and then the doctor said to me, does he always communicate with you in that way? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. And he said, well...
doctor, he just noticed that.
I know, and he said, well, he asked you for a snack and you got it from him, you knew exactly what he wanted, and he actually didn't use any words. And I was like, oh, yeah, I suppose he didn't. And I think you just, you know, we all get to know our kids, and sometimes they say things differently or whatever, and we always kind of know what they want. And so we realised then he went for a few tests and he had glue ear, so he wasn't able to hear. And then the teacher had noticed that he spent a lot of time lip reading. So like you said, so for kids these days that are being around a lot of people with masks, they're unable to do that. So he was really behind on his speech. So luckily we were able to get him speech therapy and stuff. But with that came a lot of frustration, which then obviously made so much more sense once we figured it out, because he was frustrated because he was trying to communicate with us and we just couldn't understand what he was trying to tell us. And it must be so frustrating and so annoying, and especially when people don't understand and aren't aware of the situation. So I think even with a kid and as a parent, you don't really know what to do. So imagine as an adult, you know, if you don't figure those kind of things out and you meet strangers, it must be really hard.
It is that difficult thing, isn't it? Because we talk a lot on here about trying not to compare, because you can drive yourself mad working out, you know, how soon another kid crawled. Or we always say, oh, just let them find the way. And I was very much that kind of mum. And it wasn't until recently we were looking at some old videos of the girls, and my youngest, you could see, because we've since discovered she had dyslexia, but you could see from the way she was doing these nursery rhymes, she was getting all her words mixed up the wrong way, she was getting frustrated, and I was just watching her, and I was thinking, How did I not notice that?
We probably thought it was cute.
Yeah.
You know, you think it's cute when little kids
A lot
do
of
that.
really weird ways of putting her words. Like, instead of popcorn, she'd always say cockporn.
Yeah.
And instead of McDonald's, she said Duck Monald. She'd always... And we'd encourage it almost.
Yeah. But how often do we say communication's vital, communication's vital, and that's essentially what it is. I mean, you know, remember when you did have those terrible problems with your voice? It really rocked you.
I mean, it's nothing like that young lady is going through, but I lost my voice for 18 months. I mean, I saw about 8 different specialists, and in the end, I just became very socially isolated. I mean, I've got quite a croaky voice today as well, but I lost it completely. And so actually just going out, it became impossible, because you just sit at a table, and by the time you've mustered up enough kind of energy to even get one sentence out, everybody's moved on. Because everybody gets awkward. They don't like silences. And so in the end, I just sort of sit there like this. I think, oh, I've got so much to say, but I can't actually say it.
I remember quite a few times when we were going out, it'd be like, oh, well, what's the restaurant like? She'd have to think about how noisy it was and how much of a stress it was going to be.
And now we're going to have to think of that because of my hearing. Oh, my goodness, what are we like? But echoing that completely, Jane, this is Tina who's got in touch via Twitter. She says, 5 years ago, I caught the flu and resulted in my vocal cords being temporarily paralysed. I had no voice for a year. I felt so isolated and lonely. Exactly the words you used. Don't underestimate the power of speech and a voice. Yeah, thanks, Tina. Still to come, would you tell your son's girlfriend off for giving him a love bite? We've got some interesting views on that. And TV presenter Kirsty Gallacher tells us about tackling tinnitus and finding happiness in her 40s. That is right after this. He's the youngest ever dragon, and he means business.
Not a £300 million business at 28 years old.
You, little so-and-so.
Stephen Bartlett joins the Loose Women Den to talk about his inspirational story, the power of saying no, and share his secrets to becoming a millionaire at 23 years old. Stephen Bartlett, Monday at 12:30. Welcome back to your Friday Loose Women alongside me, Kay Adams. It's Frankie Bridge, Nadia Sawalha and Jane Moore. Coming up in the next few minutes, TV presenter Kirsty Gallacher opens up about her struggle with tinnitus and dating in her 40s. And this is one of the biggest makeup reveals you will ever see. That is the before. Now wait until you see the after. But do you consider yourself an interfering mum? Nadia, I'm going to hand over to you with this story. On you go.
Oh, well, this is my friend who rang me yesterday, and she was telling me how her son had come home with a love bite. It was the second time he'd come home with a love bite. She told him the first time she didn't want him to come home with a love bite again. So she texted his girlfriend and said, would you mind not giving a love bite again, only it makes you both look a bit cheap.
I can't believe she said that.
That's what I said. I said, you said what? Oh, my God. And she was laughing. She couldn't understand why I thought that was weird.
And how was he with it? Yeah.
No. He said, fair enough, when she told him.
Yeah, but this is probably not the first time that she's done something similar.
Well, yeah, it's the second time that she said it, but I could not imagine.
I mean, I take it we're talking about teenager. We're not talking about a 40-year-old man here.
Teenager. He's a teenager, a young teenager.
And how was the girl about it? Was she pretty chill?
She was like, OK, fair enough, but what are you going to say? That's a mum that's...
I just don't think I'd have replied, and I'd have never stepped foot in that house ever again. And I'd just be like, babe, you just got to come to mine all the time.
You'd just die a million times.
Imagine being there. Though I have to say, when you first told that story, I just thought, love bites. Remember love bites?
Do you know what? I've got a moment of exquisite euphoric memory.
You've got what?
I've got a moment of exquisite euphoric memory.
Go on, then.
No, just of love bites.
Oh, really? I thought we were going to get
No, just like
She's
that.
back in the 70s.
Do you remember? Because you couldn't do anything else, so you just go...
I don't get them. Like, what do you don't gain anything from. They actually hurt.
No, but you've got to remember, when we were young, you couldn't do anything else, could you?
What do you mean you could do it? What can you do differently now?
It was like a mark.
You've got 2 children.
Well, yeah, but when I was young, that's all I could do. It's not just different as you get older.
No, because we weren't allowed to do.
Did you do that? I mean...
What do you mean?
Were love bites a thing when you were like a teenager?
No, we did it instead of.
Yeah. But so do people nowadays. Not everyone's at it just because it's 2022.
No, literally, you couldn't
I
go
get
anywhere.
what you're saying.
There was
I
no
get
way
what
you
you're
could do it. So
saying.
because you were sexually, you needed something. You would just suck like a
but
nutter
wasn't
on a
it
neck.
Like, you know, like
You
now
needed
they
something
do
to
this-
suck on.
You know, they do this whole thing about they can literally go out for 3 months and then they go, suddenly you're my girlfriend. We didn't have that. We were like, from the second of, you were somebody's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was a bit of a mark.
Territory.
It was like,
Oh, I
showing
never saw it like that.
No, but it was like you showing that
way.
you were a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Because It
Really?
was like a,
Oh, it was pure territorial. But it was also... But
Well,
it
this
was
is
also,
news to me.
But it was also fun. But were you a giver or a receiver?
Why were you doing them?
Did you
Yeah,
give
were
them
you
or
a
receive
giver
it?
or a receiver?
I didn't receive, nor did I give.
She neither received or gived.
I would always go, do not even think about putting
Yeah,
it on your way.
I would have got really angry because if I went back to my parents, they'd have been fuming.
Did you never get them?
No,
I wouldn't have.
gosh,
I
no,
would
my
have
mum
never
would have
liked
gone.
it.
I was too scared of my mum. I was never going home with...
I used to wear a scarf. Did you? Were you a giver
Yeah,
or a
but the
receiver?
toothpaste on it.
Why?
For some reason, we thought toothpaste kind of sorted it, so your mum always knew, took your polo neck down, you were smelling of kind of like Colgate.
Your polo neck in July.
You were obviously a regular.
Moving on.
You can see her, can't you, with a love bite?
Oh yeah.
No. Our guest, oh no, our guest today. I don't know why I started doing impersonations of myself. This is really odd. Oh no.
It's what you've been slipping into.
Our guest today has been on our screens for nearly 25 years. She could probably do a good impersonation of me, actually. We'll see when she comes out. But recently, sadly, a health battle with tinnitus has forced her to take a step back from work. Luckily, she's on the mend, and she's here to tell us about it. Please welcome Kirsty Gallacher.
That topic was so funny. Oh, my God, don't ask me.
So are you out and about getting love bites?
I love that. That's excellent. Please
Obviously,
don't
we
ask
are
me.
now going to ask
Of
you.
course.
You've just said, don't ask
Oh,
me.
well, yeah. Weren't they seen as quite sort of dirty?
Yes.
So, no, not a badge of honour, I wouldn't say, but maybe I'm boring.
These two were at it all the time. apparently.
Clearly.
But did you ever get a love bite or give a love
We
bite?
would give or receive. Did I get one? No, I don't think I ever have. Did I
see?
give one? No, I didn't.
Oh,
no,
you
no.
really know classy end of the table.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. And me.
Did you ever?
I know, because my parents were like, they're filthy. It's like, yeah, it was like a sign of being a bit
That is so funny.
naughty.
Nadia and I are the outliers here.
Forever.
Yeah.
So, no, not at all.
Oh, well, there you go, Nadia. We're on the outside. Yeah,
There you
again.
go.
Yeah, again.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
So, Kirsty, this diagnosis of tinnitus, and I know Nadia wants to speak to you about that because that's something you're really troubled with too. But, I mean, when you first became aware of it, it was a benign tumour, thankfully.
I've
But, I
still
mean,
got
that-
it, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, so the story is, and I'll try and sort of make it as quick as possible. I woke up in the summer one morning, literally one morning, I couldn't hear very well in my right ear. I thought, oh, that's a bit odd. Maybe I'm getting a cold, you know, catarrh or something. Not horrendous, but just like slightly off. And I thought, right, OK, it'll pop at some point. It's fine. It didn't pop. I went on a plane the next week. I thought, oh, surely it's going to pop when I go on an aeroplane, you know, when you go up in altitude. Didn't pop. So I went to the doctor and she said, how long has this been? I said, well, I think it was 2 weeks then. It just couldn't clearly, because my hearing's great, you know, generally. And she checked me and she said, you're very healthy, Kirsty. This is an emergency. And I went, oh, my gosh, why? And I just kind of went, could it be a tumour? And she said, listen, it probably isn't, but you're going to go and see a consultant tomorrow. I went to the consultant that next day, and there is this thing called sudden sensory hearing loss, which can be an autoimmune attack, so you lose your hearing. And so he didn't know at this point, without doing an MRI scan, whether I had this sudden sensory hearing loss or whether I had a tumour. So he said, I'm going to give... This is awful. He said, I'm going to give you a steroid injection into your eardrum. Oh, my... Imagine it's like your eyeball, isn't it?
No.
So I had these injections, which were awful, went back the week after, no better, hearing test, pretty bad. He said, listen, it's an MRI scan for you. And, yeah, they found that I've got... It's called an acoustic neuroma, which is... And it's very small. It's like a pea, right in the inner ear canal. But the reason I obviously hear the hearing loss is blocking the channel.
All right.
And then the tinnitus. So I now have this buzzing, quite low level. And it's a mechanical thing for me. It's not... It's actually a physical thing.
When did that come on, the buzzing?
Straight away.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, I didn't think about that, I more thought about the loss of hearing.
Yeah.
Because suddenly it's like this sort of... If you know when you shut one of your ears and it's just a bit dumbed down.
What was it that made her say it was a medical emergency? When she looked in your ear, could she see something?
No,
or was it
that's
just
the point.
loss?
No, that's the point. So she checked everything, said your ears are brilliant, blood pressure's great. It must be something. It could be a brain tumour or a tumour within your ear. So it is an emergency because you don't know.
So the
could
tinnitus
be not non-benign. It could be malignant.
Absolutely, it could have been malignant. So you now have an absolute constant buzz, do you?
It is a low buzz most of the time. It's a bit like being in your... It sounds horrible, sorry. It's like being in your own brain. You've got this sort of buzz and then the crackling's horrible. And I know lots of people who suffer will know exactly what I'm talking about with tinnitus. 1 in 8 people suffer.
Yeah.
Many more than you think. And it can be a physical, mechanical thing. It can be anxiety, stress, related, or, as we were talking earlier, Nadia, about, some women, they now have found going through the menopause.
Well, that's around the time that happened for me, and I've got so much sympathy for you because it's so right. I've got a few sounds. I've got a crackling sound. Right now, if I concentrate on it, I can hear a buzzing sound. Do you find you have to try and take your mind off there?
Yeah.
But recently, I've been getting that high-pitched sound as well. And honestly, it's
Can
maddening.
you not do anything at all about it?
So what we're doing is, obviously, it's a difficult one because he doesn't know whether it's going to grow or not. So he has to do 6 monthly MRIs. If it's he said, and he's an amazing consultant, he said, my gut, it won't really change and you'll live with it. He won't remove it, I don't think. I think it'll be too invasive, it'll be like brain surgery, but or they can zap them, but again, it's not pleasant. I think it's just something I'm going to have to manage and get used to.
And how do you manage it then on a day-to-day basis?
Well, obviously, my first thing was that I was doing early mornings. I was doing a breakfast show and I was getting up at 2:45 in the morning. And as you know, that's, I'm sure, not pleasant anyway. But I think my sleep has been affected because, as you quite rightly say, if you wake up in the night anyway, it's difficult to get back to sleep. If you focus on the noise and it's silent, I often can't get back to sleep for 2 more hours. So actually, I can't function like that as a single working mum doing a breakfast show. And I had to just politely say, I'm dealing with something and I really, this time of day doesn't work for me. And I think that's fair enough. You've got to think about your health.
Have you got the hearing? Obviously, you've still got the sounds, but have you got your hearing back now?
No, it won't come back.
Oh, you'll never get it back?
No. Unless it's removed or, and they did say we might have to think about if it gets worse or if you really can't manage this. It's not really bad. It doesn't worry me. So here, I'm perfectly fine. It's just that it's not as sharp in my right ear as it would be in my left ear. It's not affecting my job. It's the sleep thing. Getting up that early in the morning is just... You just can't do it. But no, he said about a hearing aid, but he said, you're fine. I mean, my hearing test wasn't that bad. But I think it's really going forward and managing it and being sensible about life and not... I don't want to run myself into the ground. I want to... I think, you should enjoy your work. You should balance your life correctly. I want to be there for my children. I don't want to be like an exhausted mum who's dealing with,
Yeah, absolutely.
Health issues as well. And I just thought, no, I need to... for the first time in my life, at the age of just 46, I thought, you need to just speak up. Stop just plodding on. Just speak up and say, right, this doesn't work for me. So what we'll do is find something that does work.
Absolutely. And
certainly wouldn't work for me 2:45 in the morning.
Take control of the situation.
2:45. But radio, I mean, I obviously do my radio show on Smooth, and that doesn't affect me because I have headphones on, I can do the volume, but also I'm not getting up at 2:45 in the morning.
2:45, I don't know whether that's getting up early or going to bed late. I mean, that's just like
way... Not quite right, is it?
Way out.
It's not quite right. So, no.
Well, your teenage sons will be very delighted to know that we've run out of time and we can ask you whether or not you would text their girlfriend if they came home with a love letter. So boys, you got off with it there. Kirsty, thanks so much.
But be warned, you never know.
Thank you for having me.
Don't be scared, Kirsty, but we're going to need this for our next topic. You did look rather alarmed there. This is a turkey baster. It's not actually this bit that worries me. It's this bit that worries me.
Oh, wow.
After a Hollywood star has revealed that she offered her husband's sperm to a friend who wanted to have a baby. We ask if we would do the same thing. That's right after this. Welcome back to the final part of Loose Women. We're asking, is it scary to bear all if you're not a natural beauty? It comes after Kate Winslet has gone makeup-free in her latest ad campaign. I can't tell the difference, to be honest, but there you go. Competition time now, and here's your chance to get your hands on £250,000 in tax-free cash. Craig Doyle has all the details.
So we're giving you the chance in our Right Royal giveaway to win £250,000 in tax-free cash. Walkies, walkies, walkies. I said walkies in the... I'm going walkies. We love making winners here at ITV, and today we're celebrating with some of them. So 90 grand, right, just lands, boom.
Yeah.
Literally just lands in your bank account, does it?
Yeah, crazy.
What do you do, like, how do you start dealing with that?
Just working out what we can do for the kids.
You bought a house straight away, did you?
Yeah.
Your own house, or did you go?
Yeah. Went on holiday, cleared a couple of bills, and put the rest in hand.
You too could be a winner with us. Here's all the details. For your chance to win £250,000, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD05, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday, the 4th of March at 4 p.m. The best of luck to you.
Now, we've been waiting for this one. Hollywood actor Ginnifer Goodwin has revealed that she offered her husband's sperm to her friend when she was trying for a baby. So, would you be...
Were they drinking wine at the time?
I know. I mean, you do think...
snacks.
And we were a bit like, I wonder if she actually asked him if he
Yeah.
Have Mark. I'll get him to give me...
I know, you can imagine the poor guy going, really?
But also imagine if your friend was like, nah, you're all right. What about your husband, though? Do you reckon you're all right for giving me yours? Imagine. That'd start a whole conversation, wouldn't it?
But... You know, nowadays, lots of people are in these situations if they have fertility issues, and there's many different ways. I mean, we had the turkey based there, kind of old gag, but, you know, it's a very real situation for a lot of people now.
I think it's hard to have, like, a proper opinion in it unless you're properly in that situation. Like, I know when my sister was struggling to conceive, we kind of had that conversation of, would I feel comfortable, you know, having a baby for her? And...
Just as a
host sort of thing.
Yeah, not your egg.
I think it would have been my egg.
Oh right.
I don't know. No, maybe her egg. I don't know. Either way, and I actually said to her, I think I'd find it really difficult to carry a baby and then give it away, and then being so close, being around that child all the time. I think I'd always feel like a bit of a pull towards it. I think I'd always feel like a part of that child was mine.
Yeah. Did you have fear that it might affect your relationship with her as well? Because you're really close, you two, aren't you?
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe if she was doing something with that child that I didn't really agree with.
You might avoid seeing her.
Yeah, and I think I would probably. So actually, in the end, she was like, you know what, I wouldn't ever want you to do it anyway. But if she came to me begging, and there was no other option, would I feel differently? So I don't know.
When it's an abstract kind of concept, isn't it? I mean, my gut reaction is, oh no, I would find that really difficult. But then, you know, we've just got, this is a message in from Tina. No, actually, I don't think it's from Tina. It says, my wife and I wanted to have a baby together. My neighbour offered her partner's sperm. There we go. And now we have our beautiful daughter, Taylor, who's nearly 10. I will be forever grateful for their selfless kindness. So
that's what it is. It's a true act of altruism, and I just don't think I've got that in me. But again, if somebody was absolutely desperate, who knows? Because the pain of not having a child, it cuts so deeply, doesn't it? But I would be thinking, so like if I gave my Mark's sperm to my friend or to a sister, yeah, there's so many complications that could come into place. I mean, what if that person, like Mark, was taken back a bit to being younger and to having a child?
Or if he didn't like the way the child was being brought up.
Or if he has a son.
If it was a boy.
Because he's not had a son. Maybe he could then fall in love with my best friend, and then where will I be? And he's gone and the baby's gone and I couldn't have the son. I mean, it's very complicated.
I just love how we're like, well, if I gave my husband sperm away, like it's ours, like we own it now.
But I suppose that the thing is, you would have to have those conversations conversations.
Yeah.
Have those conversations and really, really go through all the possibilities before you made that kind of decision. And it has transformed lives. I mean, it was Tina, actually. I got that right in the first place. And it's a lovely story, isn't it? You know, so when it translates into people's real lives, but it's not a decision to be taken lightly. I guess that is the answer. Now, in her latest ad for beauty brand L'Oreal, Oscar winner Kate Winslet has bared all and she has gone makeup-free. We can see this here.
To believe that you are worth it is something we can all help each other to do.
Yeah. To be honest, Kate, I'm not sure this is particularly new. I mean, we did it in February 2016. Look, there's everybody back then. Oh, my goodness. God, we look younger, don't we?
How was that?
What? 2016.
So much younger.
I know, I know. A new twist on this one. Have a look at this TikTok video.
It goes on and on and on. Remind me of. That's what feel me when I'm in the spot. And then we start to dance and I'm singing like, oh, I want something just like that. I'll be over now, but I feel it still.
Wow.
Amazing, look at that.
I love these transformation videos.
Isn't it?
It's so clever.
But it is such an interesting twist on that whole thing, because we've kind of gone along the path, and, you know, I'm not knocking Kate Winslet for it, that you shouldn't feel obliged to wear makeup, you know, and that we're all beautiful, etc., and that's really, really nice. But there's no doubt that for a lot of people, you know, makeup, and myself included at times, does give you a sense of confidence, does make you kind of feel, I can go out and face the world. And
I don't think...
we shouldn't knock that either.
No, I don't think you should feel pressurised to wear makeup, but equally I think also this whole kind of, like, hashtag no makeup thing is another pressure, which is, you know, why should you be made to feel bad if you like to put makeup on to pop down to the shops or whatever? You should be able to do what you damn well like.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I mean, 5 days of the week when I'm not on Loose Women...
I know, we've seen it.
It's not, you know, it's just, it is what it is. And then it's lovely when I come in, I get all glossed up and I really enjoy it. And I do feel like a bit like a different person. And I would, that was me this morning. Look at the difference. I mean, but I'm fine with both. But a lot of people aren't. Like, some of my friends are still very much, and they're not on Instagram, and they're not on TikTok, and they're still very much of that generation where the idea of Kate Winslet doing what she did would be very powerful to them. The thought of a movie star taking off her makeup. I mean, I think... because we're all quite social media, into our social media, this is actually just... I think it's a great thing on social media that people do it all the time.
I took a picture of myself this morning. I couldn't put it anywhere.
Just have a look
at myself, thank you. That's it for today. Next week, we'll be joined by Dancing on Ice judge Ashley Banjo, shut up you, Ori and Portia Aduba, and there'll be a dragon in the studio. No, not Janet. It's Stephen Bartlett's going to be here. Jane and I will probably be at the door with our autograph books, won't we? See you Monday at 12:30.